Today's question comes from Will in New York. Will writes, my wife and I earn about $83,000 a year and have over $238,000 in student loans, auto loans, credit cards, etc. I did a couple of balance transfers and split a credit card between a few to get 0% interest rates on as much of the debt as possible. I feel we are somewhat on track doing the debt snowball while still paying the minimum on some and trying to get the ones with 0% interest paid off before the intro rate expires. I just turned 30, so I'm also trying to build a small emergency fund and feeling pressured to start a 401 and plan for retirement. I don't want to be in debt anymore, and I fantasize about paying cash for a house, but fear that will never happen. Any advice or guidance you can offer would be greatly appreciated.
Man, it's a tough situation.
Gosh, this guy sounds just like John Deloney.
We've been there, John. We're like, we're going to game the system. We're going to move this to the 0% card. We're going to do some balance transfers.
No, it's the when he says, I just fantasized. But I remember just walking around the house when my wife was asleep at night thinking, like, I should be able to, like, our life should be different than this. Like, I remember that feeling. And yes, I remember, like, trying to come up with every scheme in the book to figure it out, like a way to cut corners and do different and whatever.
Yeah.
Man.
So let's address one thing. You're doing too much at once, man.
Yes.
We got to slow down and focus on one thing at a time. That is the power of the baby steps, which means we're not working on the emergency fund right now. We have our starter emergency fund of $1,000. Then we're doing the debt snowball, then the emergency fund, and then we'll start investing in the 401k. And you're 30. You still have a lot of life ahead of you. A lot of people, John, go, oh, well, I'm 30. It's too late for me, John. And the same person at 20 is feeling that way, and the same person at 40 is feeling that way. It's not too late, but you've got to take intentional steps. And when I see fantasize about paying cash for a house, and then I look at their situation, that's like me fantasizing about being the best guitar player in the world, but I don't want to practice guitar ever. And it's part of it. Like, we have to get out of debt, have margin back in our life to be able to pay cash for a house. Yep. So you're right. Right now it is a fantasy because you have $238,000 of debt, and you're sitting here playing games.
This is a conversation that's not talked about enough. I think, and me and you, we can do a better job of talking about it. With this type of student loan debt, I didn't have this much, but we had six figures. We got pretty radical. We moved. And I think we moved into a residence hall, into a dorm, right? It may be that living in one of the most expensive states in the United States is just not tenable anymore. And we're going to take our jobs and we're moving to Kansas. We're moving to Nebraska. We're moving somewhere where the cost of living is exponentially less expensive. And that means we're not going to be able to be in a cool city. And that means we're not going to be able to do some cool whatevers and this is and that. But this is how much freedom means to us. And we're going to pay a little bit of money to move, or we're going to get new jobs, whatever the thing is. We're going to get radical. And right now, $83,000 a year in New York, paying off that much, it's going to be years and years.
We've got to double that income in the next 6 months.
We got to get different jobs. And I know that you love your job, and I know you feel safe at your job. You got to get different jobs.
And we're probably selling the cars.
That's right. We got to get radical about this.
And we're cutting up the credit cards, and we don't care if it's 0% or 20%. We're going to pay it off smallest to largest because that's going to make us feel the progress. It's going to motivate us to actually do this thing.
Yeah.
And we're pausing that retirement. No matter how much pressure. I don't know who's feeling pressured. I don't know where that pressure's coming from.
For me, it just came from shame. It just came from this picture that this is what a husband's supposed to look like.
I should be investing by now.
I'm failing. Yeah. And
I
that
should have a house by
failure
now.
it just spins and spins and spins on you.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you choose to stay in New York, we had a teacher who did debt-free Scream that was like, yeah, I was a teacher. And the moment I got off, I just went and drove Uber Eats all night, and then I got up in the morning and did Uber, and then I went and was a teacher, and she did that for a period of time. She paid off a ton of money, right? So if you're going to stay in New York, cool, it's going to cost you a soul tax. You're going to have to work like crazy. But do it, man. Just do it.
It's worth it. But you got to go all in, and that's been a theme on the show today is you can't be ish because you're going to get ish results, and you're going to be emailing us in going, well, I tried to do the 0%. I tried to move it over here, and I'm trying to invest because I know that's good, and I want to get that emergency fund. And then you wonder why you're not making any progress.
Here's a good example. I spent some time with the Mind Pump guys in San Jose. Awesome guys, really doing for the fitness industry what Dave has done with the financial industry, right? And we're talking about getting in shape and losing weight and building muscle. And what Will is doing here is like, you know what? I'm going to lose some weight and I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to get stronger. And so he turned the treadmill up as fast as it would go, and he got a barbell, and he's got like a kettlebell, and he's running and trying to lift and throw the kettlebell at the same time. You're going to get yourself hurt, man. This whole thing. Stop. Do these things in the right order, right? Let's start lifting weights, and let's lose weight, and then let's build muscle over time. And then once we get it more healthy, then we can start. Let's do this thing in the right order, right? So same with Will. We got a plan for you, man. Just follow the plan.